9:04 AM, we will begin this work session, Lake County Board of County Commissioners. First on the agenda, we have supplemental budget requests. Is this led by County Manager Candace Bryant? Alright, sweet.
So normally we have departments present their supplemental request. I'm not making them do that mainly because Kelsey's gone on vacation. And the DA met with us earlier, but I'm gonna present theirs because they couldn't put us together. Alright, so we've got a couple of supplementals to go through, and so these would be coming from our general fund dollars so that we can pay several items. One of which is an invoice from 2023 for fire control that was missed. Clearly I wasn't here in 2023, but just because we missed it and they missed it, doesn't mean we don't owe it. So this has actually already been paid out of the fire control fund, but we'll need to supplementally move money over to cover it. The DA's office, this is their Q4 invoice. They needed to come back and ask us for more money. As we all know that they've come back to talk with you guys about messing up their fund balance, and because they did not calculate their fund balance correctly, they ended up needing more from us this year. We gave some pushback, myself, Eagle Summit and Clear Creek, and said, hey, we're not gonna pay as much as you're asking for in Q4, we'll only do X amount. So this Q4 invoice right here, we haven't paid yet. It would be to cover essentially just their payroll through the end of the year. Anything else, we really gave pushback and said, no. Summit Stage, we received 12, well, what month is it, October? We received 10 invoices for 2022, nope, we're in
We're in 25.
25 for 2025. The Summit Stage, didn't recognize that they hadn't invoiced us for all of 2024 or any of 2025. And so that Summit Stage amount right there, because we have an IGA that was signed by a former commissioner and it's still active, we have to pay that money. We don't get to opt out even though they didn't recognize they weren't billing us. It's really a big reason that being on top of our IGAs and remembering that when you sign for things, dollars are attached to them is really important. This $258,754 is, I'm gonna pay it out of your pro services for this year, but we'll need to supplemental that from the general fund.
For 25, not 26.
For 25.
Okay.
I've got it on one of the upcoming agendas. Can't remember if it's this week or next off the top of my head. I scheduled a work session for us to review the IGA. I'm having Stuart join us to talk about maybe some places where we could try to negotiate and have a work session about what we could do to look at that differently in the future. Currently, the Summit Stage is not budgeted for next year, because I don't even know that that's what it would be. We've really got to sit down and look at that IGA to figure out what we can pay, what we want to do.
Well, you haven't budgeted, I thought you said you had budgeted it
I
for
don't
next
think
year.
we put it in there because we don't know what it will be.
There's
And
no placeholder in the budget for any money.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Is that generally what it's gonna cost, or what it has costed per
It's
year?
cost slightly more every year, it's like the last round was 22,000 a month, so I would imagine it'd be like maybe 24, 25 for next year.
For 2 buses a day,
Yeah,
or 4 trips a day?
so
I
There's
wonder
just
what the
a-
ridership numbers are and if we could like buy a van and just do that ourselves for cheaper.
we do get a little bit of grant money, and I'm having Stuart work on getting all that dialed before we're sitting in here in the work session. I don't know how much the grant is off the top of my head.
That would,
But it doesn't do us any good for a year, we know.
So after everything's said and done, we had like 400 in wiggle room in worst case scenarios, very conservatively.
We have no
And
money.
if these scenarios kind of pan out and we estimated correctly, then that bites into that. Okay. Got it.
Other supplemental requests, and just so you guys know, at the end of the year, we're gonna do one really large supplemental request. So while there are things some things you can say, no, we don't wanna do that, some of these things are like things we don't get to opt out of. I owe the city $106,000. I don't get to opt out of it just cause someone in 2023 missed it. And some of our supplementals in the fourth quarter will be to get all of our funds not to be in a negative balance. By state statute, we can't have a fund in a negative balance. So the water fund, for example, the assumption was that the water fund would be operating all year long and actually have revenues coming in. Now that it hasn't, doesn't mean expenses didn't come out of the water fund, they did. And we can't have that fund be in the negative. So at the end of the year, we'll have to supplemental, revenues to cover the total of expenses in that fund. Cause we can't be in the negative by, per state statute.
Yeah,
So that last supplemental will be large, but it'll really be getting everything in balance for the year.
yep. I was crunching numbers over the weekend, looking at like how so much is being withheld because of like bickering in federal level. And then I came across that like, $20 billion went to Argentina for like, hey, let's be buddies, basically. And I was like, man, if they split that up equally between all the states, and Colorado split it up equally between all its counties, it would have given us like $6 million. It was just this like one weird little Argentina blip on the radar that I'm like, that would have been millions and millions of dollars for pretty much every county in the country. At a time when I don't think we're the only county that's like, oh crap. Just seems weird to me how this whole business.
That's crony capitalism.
Yeah,
Public health. So this is a request from Kelsey Maxey, to pay for a professional services agreement with Digital Deb. So over the last 2 years, Deborah has provided tech assistance for seniors, 10 hours per month. This was contracted through AmeriCorps. So previously we didn't pay for this. Her appointments are booked with seniors needing technological assistance, and this is one of their most popular and needed programs at the senior center. The AmeriCorps funding was lost due to the current federal administration, and the contract ended on 8/7/25. They would like to re-contract with Digital Deb to continue programming at the current level through the end of the year. So that'd be $377 a month, including travel costs, and then they are gonna budget for this next year. Or Kelsey already has it in her budget, but they would like to continue service through the end of the year, so that'd be $1,500. And this kind of breaks, out what contributes to that cost there. So those are all of the supplementals we currently have. And then we'll have we'll get these posted in the paper. We'll come back and then you guys will actually have to vote on them.
Yeah.
Biggest bummer, I think, is the summit stage.
yeah, that's it.
Just not knowing
Just not know.
about it, but thankfully they did not make us pay 2024, so that's great. But I do wanna really look at that agreement, when we do that work session and have some really good ideas what we could do differently
Yeah,
in the future, or can we find other funding streams, cause that is just a huge amount.
Seems to me if they're willing to just let go of a whole year's worth of invoicing, and also most of the people riding that bus are Summit County employees, like,
Absolutely.
we could have a strong negotiation.
Well,
Standpoint and say, hey, man, we're not sure if we can continue this, how many of your employees we know they live here, but you're getting all the benefits, so.
well, you know, I think it would go deeper than that too, like, there's probably things that they would come back at us with, like, you know, are you really in a position to let this go? Are the people in your community in a position to?
Yeah.
On the other hand, you know, there's a vested interest they have in continuing that. I think they put a lot into that, you know, bus garage over there by,
Yeah,
over there
I
by.
mean, maybe even Copper Mountain, I don't know how it works, if they get a mill levy, a piece of the mill levy over there?
I'm not sure. I have Stuart looking into it and trying to work with them before we're in the work session.
Do we need to knock it down to one bus in the morning and one in the afternoon? Everybody jump on at 6 and come home at 6, I don't know.
It doesn't really, it feels pretty horrible to me, like taking
Sandra, do you
parents away from
remember
their
that
kids for an
work
extra
session
2 hours a day or
for the,
whatnot. I feel like that's just such a really tough
I need to
situation.
get with.
But maybe they're willing to work with us on something, you know, it sounds like they're not taking a super hard line, so that's promising. I think just discussion.
Just forget a whole year.
Stuart had some ideas about how maybe we
Shows they
could
have
reduce that cost, so I would
a
like
large
to at least
budget, and if they
give
Well,
some thought to
wait,
what we wanna ask.
I don't know why they're not charging us, because they have a $5 million deficit, and they're doing rolling furloughs.
That's what
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
So they're in a,
It's a rolling furlough.
like, you have to take time off,
Oh my gosh.
and you won't be paid for that time, you can keep your job,
Wow.
but we're gonna take turns having people not working.
Hmm.
So they're not in a good position, I would not assume that like they're flush,
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So,
This isn't Eagle County we're talking about,
yeah,
but we're gonna have a work session on it, so
when is that work session?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
You know, how far back can, is there like a statute of limitations for people to come at us and be like, oh, we forgot to bill you guys? Because we're going back a few years now,
It's 6 years for liquidated damages,
okay?
so quite a while, 3 years on a breach of contract, and so either way you slice it, they're well within the statute of limitations, yeah. Yeah, it's tough to not pay something when the service has already been rendered.
Yeah,
And like Candace said, they already knocked off a whole year in an effort, cause they screwed up on their side too, on
yeah,
sending
Yeah.
invoices.
it's like a mutual ball dropping there.
Okay. Shall we continue?
That's all I have for
That's it.
you, that's it.
And I feel like this would have gone longer if we had like had time to actually look at what was prepared. So maybe we'll just have more to talk about when we actually vote on it.
Well, on two of the items, I mean, 3 of them, I mean, there's not really much more to discuss. You have to fund the DA's office. One of your commissioners
We have
prior
to,
to you signed you up to pay,
we have to pay for the summit stage, we get it.
so it's not that there's not really a lot, or like the fire invoice, I mean,
Yeah, what do you
there's
mean
something.
which fire fund is this coming out of?
Okay, so I believe it's in, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we have like an area that we always pay like the fire payments out of, like monthly payments.
Mm-hmm.
In the city's audit, this year, they found that they never billed us for the last payment or one of the payments in 2023. And because we have the agreement to pay them for the fire, I don't get to not pay that invoice, it's actually already paid, so. You know, a lot of these are agreements that other people have signed. before you came in, and them missing billing us doesn't alleviate us from having to pay for it because the agreement is in place.
For conversations sakes, is there like, is some of this stuff like maybe being talked about across the street, like they just never paid us, or is everybody like, whoops, we forgot to bill you,
They're
our
supposed to
bad?
invoice us and they forgot to invoice us, so I think they missed it because it didn't get caught to the end of their audit,
Okay,
and if we weren't invoiced, we certainly didn't pay it.
okay. Ugh,
I mean, I can't really attest to what happened or didn't happen in 2023, but I do think we're a lot more organized. There are just not really a lot of processes in place at that time that are in place now.
hey, we're getting better.
We are. But all of these ghost agreements that pop up out of nowhere, I'm like,
I mean, that's why I really wanna get some sort of contract management
Yeah.
software in place, cause it's, there's just too many contracts to track, like,
Yeah.
tracking them.
The ghosts of
We're not
IGA.
tracking them.
Or
Those are
contract people, yeah.
Oh, yeah. IGA.
That's what it feels like.
Oh.
But I mean, that's really where we're trying to work together to have a really organized, like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it feels that things lived in inboxes before and people's memories, and that's not a great way to keep track of contracts or IGAs, and so we are really trying to at least use Airtable for now until we get whatever contract management system makes the most sense, so that we can look at it and say, oh gosh, these 8 IGAs are coming up, we should be ready to review them before they're due.
Yeah.
And that system is not something we inherited when
Yeah.
we came here,
Or you
so
can look at it and say, where you need to send people invoices to
Yeah.
on the website.
Mhm.
Use that as a cross-check with Tyler and
Yeah.
everything else, yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool to have like a system that let us know like, hey, next week there should be incoming, you know, like, I don't know. That'd be extra complex, I guess, but it would be cool.
Really simple.
Okay, it'd be cool to know what should be coming in, like, hey, why didn't that ever come in? So if other people are dropping the ball, we aren't putting future.
2025, I would hope that there's something like that exists.
There's a lot of software out there that exists like that. It's not that expensive either.
Yeah.
It's relatively
Okay,
low budget.
I don't want the next rounds of commissioners to all be having these same conversations, cause they kinda suck. Alright, anything else that we should? Okay, close this up and move on to a ops meeting.
Let's do it.
let's do it.
So at 9:22 AM, we will conclude this work session of Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.